FileMaker Training. I'm here with all sorts of interesting people with me. I got Jacob Taylor and Ryan Correa, and today's conversation is going to be on FileMaker licensing. So I'm going to bring that up. Here's my face right here real quick. Let's cover the low-hanging fruit before we get into all the shenanigans here in. So you ready? This is the part at the beginning of the movie. The opinions and the participants of this live stream do not necessarily reflect those of Apple Incorporated or any of its subsidiaries. The opinions of those are some random dude, me, with 33 years of relevant combat experience. Viewer discretion is advised. So welcome to fmtrain.tv. I'm going to bring up the website real quick. So if you go to fmtrain.tv, you can see the upcoming broadcast schedule. We've been getting lots of great feedback about the things that are still hard about the FileMaker platform, the Claris FileMaker unified platform. But yes, if you go to fmtrain.tv, you can see upcoming broadcast schedule. This is a website. It's regular, kind of an Apache kind of server, or what is it now? It's not Apache anymore. What are we using?
We are on Nginx.
Nginx. It's spelled with an X. Nginx is spelled very funky. But then this data right here is coming right out of the FileMaker solution, which is pretty awesome. I like how that works. And so this is real data. So not only do we talk about FileMaker, we train on FileMaker, we eat our own dog food. That's why we know all the bits and pieces, the good parts, the bad parts, the parts that need help, the parts of all of it. So today is on licensing. We're going to start that conversation here immediately. Well, let's talk about FileMaker licensing. So we have this document. What this is a loose outline of the associated costs of purchasing FileMaker for your team, for your group, and the entry level position for your team is five seats. So if you want one copy of FileMaker for yourself, in the ideal world, that would be free. Claris isn't there yet. I am not Claris. I cannot tell you why they're not there. I have my suspicions, but their intent, ideally, in an ideal world, but I think that we're looking way into next year at some point for this, is that as a single person, that you're not sharing this FileMaker with anyone. In an ideal world, that would be free for you. As soon as you share it with your team, that's really where Claris wants to charge you for that benefit. So in the meantime, until they can actually get it for free, you can get it bundled with training from me. If you go to fmtrain.tv, purchase one of the bundles. It's one of the best ways of supporting the channel. And also, if you get the complete bundle over here, it comes with a copy of FileMaker Pro, and that's an annual license. So talking about licenses on the whole, and I've got Jacob and Ryan here. Yep. Essentially, at the end of the day, we built this document right here for you so you could understand licensing the FileMaker platform for your team of 5 people or more, okay? Once again, I don't represent Claris. I only represent them in so much as that I know quite a bit about the platform, and I'm happy to answer questions with you, okay? But my shirt doesn't say Claris. So here's the 5-pack conversation right here. I talk about 5 packs, a pack of users. It's the idea of 5 user licenses. We also talk about 10 user licenses here. We talk about the cost, the basic cost of that license on an annual basis, a subscription, which is the recommended way of moving forward with this. It's the cheapest outlay of cash, and it keeps you up to date, but you're going to pay that every year. We also talk about setting it up with Amazon, which is the server tech that we use at RCC. Once again, everything you're seeing right here, we eat our own dog food. This is what we use, okay? Actually, we have to buy more licenses, though. So let's talk about terminology real quick. I asked Ryan, what are the most common questions that you see? And this is, so here's the upcoming question. So, what is a user? Not someone who does drugs. So, Ryan, what is a user? What is a user, according to Claris?
So, a user can be someone in the office using their laptop or desktop. B, say you got a sales team and they're out there, out in the field on their iPad or iPhone. Those are considered users.
And they can access FileMaker from I'll call any client, okay? So for those of you who know what the clients are, Pro, Go, WebDirect, right? That's what we're talking about here for the most part. Pro, Go, and WebDirect, okay? Yes. So classic scenario that Ryan runs into. Someone says I have 2 secretaries or 2 whoever's, and they work on different days. Maybe they even work on different days. Like this person covers, or they work 5 days, and maybe someone covers the graveyard shift, and they use the same computer. Is this 1 user or 2 users, Ryan? What is that?
The answer to that is 2 users. Both those secretaries would each need their own license to FileMaker, even though they're sharing the same computer. And that goes not just secretaries, but if it's on one computer, that doesn't mean 3 people can, use FileMaker just because it's not one computer. Each person, those 2 people would need their own license.
So this is what we call user licensing, okay? And the cost for user licensing, if we go back to the magical PDF that floated around over here, I'm going to go back to this. It was around $16 per person per month. Is that what it was, Ryan? If we go, let me see, go back here. 5 users, just for the privileges of using FileMaker is $16.50. If you buy a 5-pack, if you divvy that up times 12 months and 5 users, you're paying $16.50, okay? Then if you actually put all the server stuff and everything else with it, that's kind of discounted. And once again, you're paying Amazon directly for this. We're not fronting it for you. We're saying that we set this up for you, or hire a homeless person who lives in front of your house to set it up for you. I don't care. Hire someone to set it up for you, or Jacob. And then if you set up with an Amazon T3 large, which is a kind of a server, kind of a smaller size server, it's not horribly expensive. By the time you add everything up, you've got $18 a month for that, and the setup, whatever, if you amortize that, so you're out the door for about $40 per user per month. Okay, is the complete total cost of ownership. That's not the cost of hiring a developer to train you, or the cost of buying me lunch because you like me so much, or taking Ryan to dinner because he's such a charming person, or buying Jacob another orange sweatshirt because he loves orange. That's just the basic. This is the basic out the door price for the server and the software, and then you get starting point for free. Say maybe work on it in your spare time, or you roll your own solution like Centauri is working on. There you go. So now, if you buy more seats, the price goes down. So if you buy 10 users, because you can still have the same size server, you're bumping up against the maximum size in that server. We've had a couple of customers, I think Jacob was talking about, who'd try to put 15 or 20 people on this T3 large. But the T3 large will do 10 users, depending on the solution and what you're doing. But that price goes down on a per user basis, right? So the license fee goes from, on the FileMaker side, goes from $16.50 down about $1 a month because you've added more people. But because they're sharing the server, the price really comes down quite a bit, down about a third. So FileMaker license is okay, so back up. There is user licensing, and then there's concurrency, okay? David Angel says, is this licensing FM license per concurrent user? Okay. Everything we're talking about right now is per user as an individual right here. If you want a concurrent license, I'm going to say, so I'm not going to use the word concurrent and user together. It's a concurrent license. This is different. What Claris does is they take their formula for this is pretty simple. Yes, this is available. Okay. And what Claris does is they take the math, I'm going to say the math here, and I'm just writing this out so everyone can see what I'm writing and you can visualize this. The math, I'm going to put a return right here. The math is, we take the user license, which was, like say $16 per user per month or something. And then what they do is they multiply it by 3, okay?
3
times 3. So what that means is that then you've got a concurrency license. So I have 12 people that share one computer, right? And they work different days of the week at different times. They share one computer. Well, you could buy 12 user licenses, or you could buy a minimum, once again, is a 5-pack. So 5-pack of concurrencies, right? If I say something wrong, Ryan, you stop me. But you're going to buy a 5-pack. So a 5-pack of concurrent licenses is 3 times as much as a 5-pack of user licenses, right? So
correct.
A user license, Claris at this moment in time does not ask you to identify those 5 people. Say we buy a 5-pack of user licenses. But the legal license says, and you should be prepared at any time to provide Claris the name and email of those 5 people. Dick Smith, Sally Jones, Tim McJunkin, Randy Wallace, Steve Allen, right? 5 people and their names and emails. Those are the 5 people that are licensed. If you're doing concurrency, you don't have to do that because Claris doesn't care who uses it. They're gonna allow 5 slots that connect to that server, 5 simultaneous users, and when you get to number 6, it's warning, dialog pops up. You've exceeded the maximum amount of users. Please take your American Express credit card and go spend the money at claris.com, whatever it says, or with Ryan, right? By the way, if you want to get a hold of Ryan, sales@FileMakerPurchase.com is the person down here who's all like clean shaven with the fancy glasses. We have a WebDirect app for people to request public relations. Would this be a 1 license? It would be 1 concurrent license. Ryan, can you sell 1 concurrent license?
No, five is a minimum for concurrent and standard. So you can buy 1 standard license or 2 standard licenses, but that doesn't come with FileMaker Server. It's a standalone. But in regards to concurrent, 5 or more.
Okay, stop. So you mix things together there. So you can buy single user licenses. So you can, so I'm going to have you rephrase that again. So you can buy like when we buy our training bundle, generally you buy, if you get the complete bundle that we have, we bundle that with and it's all approved by Claris, a single user license that comes with it, okay? If you buy a single user license from Claris, they charge you $549 or whatever it is for a single user license. And they go, why do they charge so much for it? Because they don't want to be bothered with single license sales. I mean, they actually make a pretty good chunk of money out of it. I've got some idea what that number is. It's pretty good money, but at the end of the day, they would rather sell people a 5-pack or 10-pack because it's more money, right? So you can either buy single user licenses, which only comes with FileMaker Pro, or you can jump to a 5 user pack or 5 concurrencies, okay? And you can mix them. You could buy, Ryan, could you buy 3 users and 2 concurrencies? Would give you 5 total? Can you mix it like that?
It would have to be
mix.
You can mix,
but
it has to be a 5 minimum of either the user and the concurrent, and then you can do whatever. So you have
to buy 5 users or 5 concurrents. Then you can add individual license above that. So you'd buy 5. So in case of Ed Burkle, he's has some people accessing internally, he would buy, say he has 5 people, and those are named individuals, and they're running around on Pro or Go WebDirect. Then he buys a 5-pack for them, and then he adds on a single concurrent license on top of that. And that single concurrent license then would allow kind of public-facing, I guess, access to WebDirect. Does that make sense? So you have to start with 5 of one or the other, and then you can add on top of that incrementally. Okay. Centauri is from Switzerland. Yeah, we were trying to figure that out. We were thinking you're German, but we weren't really sure. We have people here from all around the world. Your questions are welcome. Now, understand these prices are US dollars, okay? But you can do the conversion. You'll have a pretty good idea what Claris is going to charge you in your local region. So figure out what the conversion rate is, or you can go to the Claris website, go to store.claris.com if you want, and try to go down that road. So that is the idea of licensing the FileMaker platform. Understand that there's been this, for the last 12 months, there's been this conversation about the FileMaker platform and the Claris platform, which are 2 totally separate things that are sold separately. In fact, the pricing is different. And what Claris has decided is that made things way too complicated. And so they have decided that they're going to just sell 1 platform. The idea is that what we're calling the new platform is what I'm referring to as the FileMaker Unified Platform. It's based upon the FileMaker platform, and it's unified because they're bringing over Claris Studio and Claris Connect. And so it essentially is the FileMaker platform, and the company that puts it together is called Claris. Okay. There is a Claris platform right now. It's being deprecated. Code to Go says, I've been a professional FileMaker for 25 years and never understood the licensing. Let me just say that about a year ago, it was August of last year, that Claris decided to fork the platform. Then they realized that people were horribly confused. So now they have removed half of it, and we're back to like kind of like August of last year, right before that, right? So we really have one platform and Claris is going to sell that one platform. And in an ideal world, just think of it this way: if forget all the moving peripheral pieces. If you have 5 people in your company and they have names, you're going to buy a 5-pack of FileMaker platform. If you're going to have 20 people in your company or 22 people in your company and you have their names, you're going to buy a 22-pack or 22 seat license, user licenses, okay? If you have 100 people in the company and they all have names, but they only access the database once a week or every couple weeks, then maybe instead of buying 100 seats for all 100 people, you buy 20 seats of concurrency. So remember though, the math on that is you take the 20 times 3, that gives the equivalent price. So 20 concurrent licenses is a similar price to 60 user licenses, right? So that's the one thing. You can choose which way you want to go. It's one or the other, okay? That's really the only thing you have to know. Stu, who is a former special ops guy, we're not going to discuss where he comes from, says, I figured out how to determine the licensing. Call Ryan, ask him how much it will cost. Here's the deal with what I tell Ryan, okay? Now, Ryan's a sales guy, so you got to take this with a grain of salt. That being said, I tell Ryan, give the customers the best deal possible and make sure that they don't overbuy. I've seen other situations with other, and I'm not even get into even loosely tell you how or where this happened, but because I don't want to impugn someone's reputation. That being said, not everyone operates under these rules, right? And so I tell Ryan that if they need 5 users, then sell them 5. And Ryan could try to sell you 5 concurrent and jack up the price and make more money. He doesn't do that. We're going to try, if I could give everyone FileMaker at a single license, I could give it to them for free, I would do it. Because the more people who use FileMaker at a single license level, even if it was $10, if I could get it for $10 a seat, I would probably give away $5,000 or $10,000 worth of software easy. I'd give it away because every person who's downloads and play with it becomes a valuable potential customer for the platform. And so when you get to 5 users, 5 seats, that's where you get the server. That's where the value to the organization comes in because you're collaborating with the team. If you're just building your own personal database that does something, Claris would much rather have you become successful and then go back and get you for 5 or 10 or 20 seats later on, right? You know, the free version is supposed to be the gateway drug, the single license. Claris still charges $549 for it. I charge less for it. The short version, though, is that eventually it will be free, but I don't. It's so far out, it's not even on the rumor mill of when it might go. Cloud licensing plus cloud versus server. Okay. Jacob Taylor to the bridge. Stand by. You're up to bat.
Present. What's up?
Okay, so you're now we're going to baseball analogy now. You're up the plate with your baseball bat. I'm going to throw you a softball. Okay, it's like if I threw the little old lady granny ball at about 30 miles an hour over the plate. It's easy. Okay, you ready for this? There's questions about licensing on-prem versus licensing with FileMaker Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Can we define? Let's define. So, Jacob, go. What is on-premise license?
What do you, in the context of what? Sorry, licensing or
okay, so as Code to Go or Centauri? I think Centauri asked this question. Well, should I buy FileMaker Cloud or should I have on-premise?
I actually have a spicy answer to that question, and you can decide if it's a good one, and we should proceed with it or not.
Okay, stand by to censor the TV show. All right, Jacob, go.
So the way that I walk clients through, like, do I get server? Do I get cloud? Right? Those are the products in this case. Where you host it, that can get kicked out to a second conversation because you can have your own on-site server. You can set up a cloud server that uses the on-premise software. You can also hire a third-party hosting company. Same thing.
Okay, just stop. Go back and explain. Just explain these again. Just dive it. Forget the. Why don't we do definitions right now? I'm typing. So on-premise server is the FileMaker server, right? That can be installed on, and this is the requirements, Ryan. Ryan, you're right, but kind of. So I'm just going to be more precise. Can be installed on what? Macs?
Mac, Windows,
Windows.
and a couple versions of Linux.
Okay,
Yep.
so not Linux, Linux.
Yeah, you
Okay,
got it.
so that is the only requirement that that the FileMaker server can be installed on Macs, Windows, or Linux. Well, what kind of computers run on Amazon data centers? I'm throwing, these are super easy softballs.
Macs, Windows, and Linuxes.
Yeah, but the Macs are real expensive. So most
Macs
of it
are very expensive. It's mostly Windows and Linux. If you're going to be.
Yeah. So can you install on-premise software on Amazon?
Yes.
And if you install it on Amazon, it's kind of in the cloud.
In the cloud.
Yeah.
See, and that's the misleading part about this.
Yeah.
Is that Claris has a well, I'm gonna update this. Claris, and this is software as a service. See the SaaS thing right here? Cloud server. So this is where Claris, you pay them some money, and they don't really worry about licensing or whatever, and you don't have to worry about, well, you don't have to worry about licensing other than the head count, 5 people, 8 people, 100 people. And Claris sets up the server for you. But it runs under Apple's jurisdiction. And Apple has some pretty tight security requirements, which means some of the features that you normally would want to use on on-premise server either don't work at all or don't work well. So Pro, Go, and Web work fine. But as soon as you get into some API action, especially a FileMaker server is a source of data. For example, if I go back to fmtrain.tv, this is a website that's being run by Nginx on a Linux server. This data right here is coming out of the FileMaker server. I have yet to actually ever get good instructions on how to make that work on FileMaker, the software that as a service, this cloud stuff over here.
Yeah.
I've had someone at Soliant swear that it works, provide instructions that could not be reproduced. Okay. We tried to reproduce them, we couldn't do it. There's all sorts of limitations, et cetera, because Apple is real anal about security. Why are they anal about security? Because let me ask a question. How often do you hear a news story about Apple being hacked and someone getting into their shit? Never. Pretty much never. Right? Yeah. They might have patched their operating system. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about someone getting into their data centers and stealing all the customer data out of iCloud or out of
even the iCloud hacks that some of you may remember years ago. There was a spate of like iCloud hacks that hasn't returned. We haven't seen that a second time. That wasn't like hacking Apple. It was, someone used the same email and password not on iCloud, somewhere else, and then it was breached. You go take it to iCloud, you go log in as them, same password, you get in. That has been resolved by Apple basically since then. A lot of people, if you guys are Apple users, the little device prompts and bringing the codes up to, you just logged into the new iPhone, whatever, all that stuff. That's why you haven't heard those stories again. So
Apple's really tight on security. So as a result, they make Apple security tight on Claris, and then Apple makes the security tight on you, right? And they don't want to have a permission or carve out for this sort of data access because it opens a hole through the network that Apple is worried that someone might exploit. Claris isn't worried about it because Claris has tested it, but Apple won't certify it, so it doesn't happen if it's an Apple service. So once again, Claris software as a service, this is really AKA on an Apple machine in an Apple data center somehow, right? So that's the deal with this. So on-premise server, all that is FileMaker server where you control the hardware. It should be where you roll your own, bring your own hardware, whatever like that. But because they like to say on-prem to imply that this isn't cloud. I can tell you a vast majority of people who set this up right here, they're on the cloud, right? They really are, right?
We do a majority of our setups using the on-premise software on a cloud. Cloud.
You said a majority. Jacob's talking like 95%.
It's most of them, yeah. A vast majority.
Vast majority.
There are a few. Frankly, it's actually mostly the like on-site Mac Mini users who have like 3 staff in an office or something like that. those customers, those tiny ones, they're still sitting, with an on-site server, well, easy to manage Mac sitting over in the corner, nothing big going on. They're fine. Almost everybody else, they're up on AWS. A lot of them they stopped wanting to deal with the Mac in the office, to be perfectly honest. And they were like, I don't know, Jacob's
That's
cool.
what happened to us. I had Macs in the office,
know.
and Jacob got tired of the Macs in the office. I went on vacation, something blew up, and he got pissed and moved it to Amazon. I came back from vacation, all my was on Amazon. I'm like, Jacob, what have you done? In all fairness, Jacob did warn me before he did it. He asked me for my opinion in the matter, but I'm pretty sure that my opinion didn't matter, even though I own the company, so he just did it.
Yeah, it was, so that was when PG&E decided that
PG&E shut off our power for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Because they were afraid that because people kept starting forest fires, so they shut the power off. So we're back to data centers up in Amazon.
Yep.
So
Twitch had kind of a question. Do I upgrade my Pro Advanced 18 single license or buy a new 5-user bundle?
Well, do you have 5 people and you need the server? Right? Or do you have 4 people and you need the server? Listen, if you have 3 or 4 people and you need the server, just buy the 5. Okay. I know that sucks, but if you're got a business and you're deriving value from it, then it's not a bad thing to give Claris money. Okay. I want people, let's go back to this next question here. Can I just pirate FileMaker? Okay. And I'm being serious about this question. Customers don't ask us this, but they're like, they really would.
Do it.
Some of them will do it. And the rub is that Claris has determined, the reality is that they are in the process of clamping down on you people. And that just between you, me, and the wall, if you're not current on your license, Claris can shut your server off. They're not going to delete your data. They can just make it so FileMaker server doesn't run anymore. We've seen that happen. And I got a warning message from certain executives at Claris International saying that they were going to be much more aggressive about people who don't do this. So what will happen? We had this happen to a customer. I think, Jacob, you were dealing with it. We told the customer, hey, you need to get, your license expired, you need to renew. And they're like, oh no, if I just kick the can down the road for, how long did they kick the can down the road? Months, right? Wasn't it months?
They ran out of all of there's like different windows where Claris is like, within a certain number of days after expiry, certain things apply, blah, blah, blah. They were all the way out past the end of all of those timelines. You come in, you could re-up and, true up your licensing again. And
here's the deal.
The client was just like, no.
No. And we had told them, hey, you need to renew this. So then Claris goes, they turn the switch, pow. And their FileMaker server doesn't run anymore. Oh my God, the whole company's down. Holy beep, 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 beep. And they call Jacob. Jacob, where's the hotline?
Yep.
The red phone. Jacob, the company's down. What do we do? And Jacob's like, if Jacob was smoking Marlboros, he'd be like, well, you could have paid the license when we told you to. And I'm not going to kill myself getting this running again for you.
Yeah, it was actually very interesting. I've never seen, for obvious reasons, we don't usually have clients, go all the way out of their licensing to where Claris has to go. But I've never seen the admin console error before. It was basically, Claris had shut your thing off remotely. Like that's what the message basically was.
Yeah, so you're going to see more of this. So those of you who are playing around the edges of the danger zone, just be advised that day may come where your company is off and you're back to Post-it notes and ink pens.
Not question. I just want to tell you, I sent you on Slack the document that we saved that is Claris's answers to these questions, which we could go through to see how.
Okay, do we want to test ourselves to see if we got the answers correctly? So I'm going to bring up Slack. The problem is if I bring up Slack, everyone's going to see the super duper secret stuff. Claris FileMaker Licensing. So what we're going to do is we're going to, this is in my curriculum and training. We're going to update our curriculum and training as we go here, but at the same time, we're going to attempt to determine if we're full of shit or not, right? So here we go. So ready? If you have a question, please contact sales. Just contact Ryan. What is Claris FileMaker User Licensing? Claris User Licensing is simple. So it should be a way for the teams to license all of Claris FileMaker products. FileMaker User Licensing is based upon the number of unique users in a company. Can we get that right? Right. that use the Claris FileMaker software. A user is a unique person, and they can use any of these devices. Licensing by user is easier and more flexible. When purchasing user license, customer only count the number of unique users. User FileMaker user licensing agreements include access to. Why are they offering it? It's easy to understand. That's what that should say. As opposed to, I don't know what, concurrent licensing or the licensing we had in previous years, I guess. I don't know. What are the benefits of FileMaker user licensing? You get to use the software.
What are the benefits? So you can buy starting at 5 and in increments of 1. Those licensed seats. In addition, you now get a single key instead of apparently we used to spam you with keys because we need 7,000 keys. What products are included in FileMaker user licensing?
All of them.
All of them. Yes, the answer is yes. And then you get Claris FileMaker, which apparently includes Claris FileMaker Pro, Claris FileMaker Server, Claris FileMaker Go, and Claris FileMaker WebDirect. User licenses are granted for use of any FileMaker 19 client. I guess we're talking about 20 now here shortly, including Pro, Go, and WebDirect. Each user licensing contract includes 3 licenses of server so that you can, for example, have a production server, a backup server, or a development server. Some of our clients do that. They have like a test box and a prod, the actual one that runs the company.
Okay, this is kind of off in the weeds, but if you buy a 5-pack or greater, it comes with a server. You're actually licensed to use 3 servers.
3 servers.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I've actually had a client that needed more servers. So say if you have 80 licenses, you can get 10% of that of servers. So you could 10%
All right.
of 80.
I love you, Ryan. We're just going to say if you need more than 3 servers, call Ryan. I don't want you, whatever you said, I need to bleach that from everyone's minds because their mind's already overloaded, right? I did not know that, Ryan. I'm glad you know that, but we're just going to
I want to hear that.
No. Because I can Centauri in Switzerland and Code to Go, their brains just both exploded. I'm being serious. I mean, they're probably.
Ryan, tell me that later.
Yeah. Why isn't FileMaker Pro Advanced included in user licensing?
Yeah,
it is.
It addresses the people who are coming up from, is that 18 or 17 and older, basically, when we used to actually have Pro Advanced and it wasn't just a checkbox.
Yeah, no, I get that. Why isn't it? It should say it is included, but it's not called that anymore.
Nope.
Anyway, I get that. I'm glad they addressed that. That's fine. Do you have purchased additional users in increments of 5 with previous license teams? No, existing customers can add. Yeah, you can buy increments of 1 once you get past 5, right? You can buy increments of 1. What if you need less than 5 users? Anyone want to ask that question? No. There's a monthly subscription for FileMaker. Yeah, so this comes up quite a bit. A couple of the developers out there have tried to or have attempted or try to do this where they resell FileMaker subscriptions, but they do it on a month-to-month basis or a week-to-week basis or day-to-day basis or whatever they're doing. That's a lot of paperwork and overhead. Notice that we don't charge a lot for setting up your FileMaker server. We try to keep the overhead to a minimum, so we're not going to make lives harder than they already are. If you want to buy FileMaker licenses out of a vending machine next to your Twinkies, right? Out of a soda machine with the Twinkies and, oh, here's an extra FileMaker license for 3 weeks or something. Yeah, we're not going to be in that business, but that's only available from a developer who has too much free time on their hands. Okay.
The places that I've seen the like monthly, charging basically for FileMaker licensing are a lot of the big hosting companies. And I honestly, I think it's an accounting fiction on the back end, if I had to guess, because I don't know that you can actually buy like a monthly license from Claris. I don't think that exists.
No,
so
what they do is they're buying a year. They're buying a year one, then they're chopping it up, and Claris has blessed them to do that, which is fine.
Yeah.
But you just have to have the paperwork to support that. Because if Claris says, "Give me the users right now," those people have to fork that over.
Yep.
And Can I
They're
transfer
within your
user
billing
license from
system.
one user to another? User licenses are purchased for each unique user. The company organization's licensing may reassign a user to a new user, replace the other one is no longer a software. User license may not be shared amongst multiple users. So back up. This is two things. One, if you fire, I think they're saying if you fire or someone quits and you hire someone else, then that can be transferred to them. Once again, they're not going to ask you for this at the current time, but you need to be prepared to provide them a list. If you have 18 licenses, then you better provide a list of those 18 people, okay? Not 35 people who are with half of them stealing the software. That would be bad. But the other part is that when you say it's a user license, that cuts both ways. So I, Richard Carlton, at any given time will use a couple, 2-3 computers at my desk, a laptop. I have 2 computers in Texas, 1 computer in Los Osos, 3 computers in Santa Clara. I'm an outlier, but a lot of you have more than 1 computer. I have like 12 just because of the training that I do. I paid once, but it's installed on all 12 computers. And if I go to those computers, I'm legal. If you have a laptop and a desktop and a machine at home and whatever, you are licensed to use all of those, right? No problem. Right? You can use them if you spread them around your desk, like I'm sitting over here. Here's the broadcast computer here. Then over here is another computer. That's 2 computers, right? Yep. In which case, I buy 1 license. I can put FileMaker on both and use both. However, if Margaret comes in here and starts using these computers, she has to be licensed, and she is. So even though she's on this computer and it happens to have, in our case, RCC has a site license, okay, about 25, 30 people. That site license, she would be a named person, so she'd come here and sit down, right? But if she wasn't part of the team, or she was like, say we have a 30-person license and she's number 31, she sits in here and uses this. Technically, that's not legal. You should try to be in alignment with that. Try to be in alignment. I mean, if you're off by 3 or 4 people, then you want to get a hold of Claris or 5 people and straighten that out, every 6 months or 12 months or something. Call Ryan, he'll help you with that. 2 users share the same username and password. Is that illegal? No, you can use whatever passwords you want. Once again, at the current time, I mean, here's the rub. The road to hell is paved with trying to weasel, excessive weaselness. And so if you're trying to have 1 licensed user, 1 person, or let's just say 5, because you can't buy 1, 5 people, and there's going to be 5 usernames and passwords in the solution, and everyone is going to log on to those under one of those 5 credentials. The problem is that you're going to have really bad security control. And when you have one of your staff go bonkers and decide he or she's going to delete a bunch of stuff or whatever they're going to do. I've been there when a FileMaker person started stealing money through credit card processing, and he paid himself $30,000 or $40,000. I get called in, the FBI's there. Carlton, we got to talk to you. Yeah, what's up? It's the FBI guys and money and people, and they're like, and this is like 15, 20 years ago. It was like $80,000 in modern money, and they're like, hey, so how would this happen? I said, well, I could do it. And if I'm having this conversation with them, I know they've already dug into my bank records, right? I could do it because I wrote the software, and then these other 3 people could do it, including the one part-time person who was in the finance department who actually was the one who did it. Okay, so you don't want to have that person sharing the same username and password because it's hard to track what people do. It's hard to know when they log in, and you might seem like you saved a bunch of money until someone. And this embezzlement thing is not a random thing. I had a person at an aviation company I know, and she ran off with $2 million, made the news, local news, NBC News. Why is server more expensive than cloud?
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite. So
cloud is more
5
expensive. What, 7 seats or greater? I think the break even is really early.
5-pack of cloud is $2,580. 5-pack standard licensing, $990.
Okay, back up. This is a really great question. So Ryan just pulled a sales weasel maneuver on you. So everyone, but he's right, but it's not quite that dramatic yet. So let's talk about this. This is the elephant in the room that people haven't been talking about. Let me bring this up. Let me get rid of this. This is really a great question. We talked about the behavioral differences between FileMaker on-premise, which is your own FileMaker server, and the software as a service, right? Which is Claris it's really FileMaker Cloud. Claris is the company. The product's called FileMaker Cloud. We come down here, process for getting set up in your own FileMaker server. So we go through all these prices down here, but this is the license over. But if you put it together for the year, so our 5-pack for the year is $23.70. What is Claris's 5-pack for the year, Ryan?
$2,580.
So for 5 users, it's $200 more a year to use the Claris version of it, the software as a service where they set it up and do it for you. Now, it's a little easier to get set up because, but then you really don't get someone like Jacob to ask questions of and do things like that. If you go up to 10, we're at $32.80 a year. What is their price per year at 10?
$5,160.
So it goes, their price is $5,000. So we had and this is not, I'm relaying a story from a customer. Customer goes, hey, Richard, we need 50 seats. They talked to Ryan. Ryan gave them prices both on the FileMaker Cloud and the on-prem with the server setup. And they go, why would we ever buy FileMaker Cloud? Because the prices, they split as we go farther forward. As they split, they get, they widen out, right? The price difference. The FileMaker Claris, Apple charges a real premium if they set this up for you, like a real premium. They go, well, what we're going to do is the IT team was 5 or 6 people, and they said that we're going to buy the 50-pack on-prem and have Jacob set it up, and the money we're going to save, we're taking all 6 of us to Hawaii for a week.
The one I used to talk about is it was the Essentials plan is what they called it, and that may still exist. I don't know.
Is that still there on their website?
Is it on there? Okay.
Ryan, is it still there? Okay.
Okay. So that tier is of the like FileMaker Cloud, the different pricing tiers or whatever that they might have. That one is the only one that's cost competitive with a server setup with me. All of the rest and those are, just to be clear, those are only 5 to 10 seats. You can't go less than 5 or greater than 10 on that tier, and that's where it's cost competitive. Yearly basis, total cost of ownership, et cetera, et cetera.
And Jacob, you can only have 3 apps for Claris Connect or something like that.
Right,
correct?
exactly. And so it's 5 to 10 users. You can only have 3 databases. There's not a lot of data, period. Like the database cannot be gigantic.
Right here. Yeah. So,
they have to be pretty small.
So Claris is competitive if you really minimize it down and if you thin the herd.
If you cut everything out,
because this price includes the hardware and the license, right? So you have to compare this price per user per month. You go to the PDF and you compare it against that number there, right? So that's your number there. So you're like, oh, well, that's a lot cheaper, right? Okay, great. But then there are limits here. You have to live within these limits. Over here, there are no limits, right? Then you come down to the 10-pack, you're at 27, and you come over here at 10, they still beat you, right? But once again, that's 3 not apps, that's 3 FileMaker files. Let's be clear about that. So,
and how about plugins? Are plugins allowed?
Well, there's no server-side plugins. No
no
plugins
for the cloud.
No server-side.
No server-side plugins.
Pro runs them. Pro runs them.
All right, other questions we have, because we're about the end of the hour here. In fact, we're past by 5 minutes. So we need to go and land the airplane. So licensing is manageable if you keep it simple. On-premise server, generally. And then you're going to count the number of people you have. And then call Claris or call Ryan or call both and compare whatever. Call Ryan. And see what kind of deal you're going to get. Because if you buy it from Ryan, you get all our training with it that's added as a free bonus on top of it. That's kind of a nice thing. So, all right, well, that's it for today. I don't have anything else. Tomorrow is going to be Calvin with charting. Okay, Calvin with charting, totally different topic. Okay, Calvin with charting, FileMaker platform, very exciting. Jacob Taylor, do you have anything else? Ryan Correa, do you have anything else for us here?
I'm good.
You're good. They're all good. All right, that's it, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a good one. See you.
report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir.